We explored the Rembrandt cross-light lighting effect early on in one of our episodes. And what I wanted to do is show you another option that I have been doing lately, and that is taking, instead of using a one box, one source, one modifier, and doing a cross-light, actually taking two modifiers. And this all came about, and keep in mind that I have been and was shooting Rembrandt cross-light for 25 years. And pretty much that was my go-to approach to just about any job I did. And I started mixing things up with three lights and edgy approach and all that. And then as I was teaching a workshop, of course, I want to cover the Rembrandt options that were out there, or the Rembrandt look. Because again, I think it's one of the most classic light that we've ever had, and still is a great light. And there was a woman that was at the workshop, and she said to me, well, I don't have a softbox, a rectangular softbox, but I have two umbrellas. Is it possible to create a Rembrandt effect with two light sources, or two umbrellas, two modifiers? And the reason why part of that came up is because for many years I didn't center the light source in the softbox. I offset it to give me a little bit more wrap around effect. When you take and have two sources, two modifiers that you can use, you have the ability to power one up and power them down separately. And so it was at this workshop that I said, let's try it with two umbrellas. We put two umbrellas up, got our model, did a shoot, and I was just amazed at the quality of the light. It was a little bit softer than I had been used to, which actually was a good option. I'd always wanted to sort of soften up my Rembrandt look, but with the two modifiers, immediately went to a little bit softer look. And so it was the next week that I had set up a test shoot with Kate Thompson, and I thought, well, one of the things I want to do is try the two modifier Rembrandt with the biggest sources that I have, which would be two Octoboxes. And so I ended up bringing her in, and Kate was and has been one who has headdresses. She makes these headdresses, really kind of wild stuff, and she's just really a great subject all around. Very natural, beautiful girl, and very natural in front of the camera. And so immediately I put these two huge light sources up. She came into the set, and the first thing I noticed that was sort of a positive thing with this technique is that she was able to move around. I mean, we're talking spin, jump, sit down, whatever. And in fact, she just sat down. I didn't ask her to sit down. I was, kind of gave her some direction. All of a sudden, she just sat down, and I immediately went down low and began to shoot a series of images, never even moving my light sources. And so in the past, when I had a one box light source as my Rembrandt cross light, if someone sat down or moved, I would have to move the box with it. But with these big modifiers, you have plenty of room to move, or the subject has to move around. And so it's a great light source to go to, and it's an amazing light source to use, say, if you were shooting a catalog, a fashion catalog, where you had a lot of models coming and going in the set, and you didn't have to have them perfectly positioned every time. If they were just off a little bit, you would have enough leeway to get the look that you wanted. So we're going to show you that. It's a double modifier approach to a cross light. All right, we're going to try another effect with the Rembrandt cross light lighting technique that we did in an earlier session. And with us again, we have Kara Tolbert. And as you remember, we did a very soft, sort of cross look with her. But what we want to do now is I want to take that Rembrandt look that I sort of started out in my early days and sort of take it to another level. So we're going to do the two modifiers here, and I'm going to power up and power down the modifiers to show you how I can control this cheek, the light on that cheek. So first, I'm going to take a picture of just one box going off. And again, it's a little bit back, so it's going to be a little harsh, but I'm going to show you sort of the difference between one light and 2 lights going off at the same time. So let's take a look at that. All right, Kara, just straighten the camera here. All right, ready? Here we go, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have the lights very harsh on the side of her face. And I would not obviously use this light exactly here, but I'm going to show you what happens when we turn this light on. And now we have a really elongated light source that is bigger. So obviously it's going to be softer, but the beauty is I can control this side, the power differences between the two. So let's fire one off here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so both lights went off, and immediately it's a softer light. It's a more pleasing light. So what I can do now is I can take and look and evaluate that cheek that's on the side there, and either increase the value of that's hitting that cheek by powering this light up. So we're going to take and let's go up a half stop. Okay, so 3 clicks there, and we're going to fire it off again. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Now half a stop's not going to make a big difference, but it is automatically, you can see it's smoother. It's a softer smooth. So let's go, and actually that's a good light. So let's go back down to where we were before, and then go 1/2 stop below that. So now you'll see the difference between this box going basically a stop range, half a stop each way. So ready, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and it's a little darker on that side. So really what you can see now is that I have the ability to control that side of the face by powering this light up and down, and it really gives me great control over the look that I want. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this effect to another level. And right now we're doing waist up. And actually you could shoot a full length with this. The light would probably taper off more down to where the feet are, and you know, it'd be a nice light. But we're going to show it with 2 huge 7-foot Westcott Octoboxes, and I think you're going to notice that it's going to be a lot softer, but it's a really amazing light. Okay, so now what we've done is we've taken this 2-light modifier cross light Rembrandt to a whole other level. And I hadn't really tried this, like I said, until maybe about 1.5 years ago, or 2 years ago. So the fun thing about this is it opens up a sort of a whole new possibility of options for you, especially even if you have, like, for example, I think this is like the Gap kind of, you know, cross light look that they've been doing for years. It's just a big soft light source. I think a lot of the photographers that were doing that were taking these huge scrims and blasting light through them. But this is a lot simpler because you only have 2 modifiers, 2 stands, 2 lights. So these are the 2 7-foot octos that Westcott has. And like I said, you can also do this with the 7-foot umbrellas that have, and especially they have a diffusion that just put over the top. It's a little less expensive option to go, but like I said in previous times, these Octoboxes are going to last a lot longer. They're going to hold up in the field with the wind and all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what 1 octo is going to look like. And again, if I was going to use just 1 octo as my just 1 light system, I would probably put it a little bit further, but I'm going to show you that we're going to fire this one off, we'll fire both off, and then I'm going to power up and power down this second one here, and I'll show you what that looks like. The beauty of this is I could put a family of probably 8 people in here. This light will cover them. And so if you are inclined to do that, do a lot of group shots, a lot of group family shots, this is a great option to go. You could even do this outdoors. Again, you'd probably have to sandbag these things down to make sure they don't blow off, but it's a great little technique to do for group shots. So we're going to do it with just 1 model here, and we're going to do a full length to it. I'll show you what that looks like. So let's do it first with the one octo going off right here. Let's make sure it's turned off over here. So this is just 1 octo going off. You ready? 1, 2, 3. And it may be a little bit underpowered if I was just going to use it by itself. And obviously the Rembrandt is barely even showing up on this. And even though that's a big source, it's still not very flattering. But if I take and turn this one on, and now I've got both octos putting out the exact same amount of power. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. And it's just beautiful, soft light. Again, it's probably a little bit softer than what you might want if you wanted to have a very strong, distinct Rembrandt look, but this gives a very, very soft cross light effect, very pleasing. And also keep in mind that in Photoshop, you could increase the contrast a little bit, and because I always typically like to shoot a little bit flatter than what I would want my final look like. So this may be a good light. So let's we're going to down this a half a stop and see what happens. So let's take it one stop, or yeah, half stop down. All right, let's fire one off here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Actually, I like this better. This, for me, for what my taste is, I would probably prefer this over the other. But let's go now and go half a stop above what our first one was. So one stop from here. So let's go up to right there. And I'll give you an idea of what that looks like. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. And it's even smoother than before. So really, it's kind of your choice. So what I'm going to do is let's shoot a full length and give them an idea what that looks like. So let's drop this camera down a little bit. And also keep in mind that depending on how far you have your subject and your banks from the background, you will be able to darken the value of the background. So let's go back to our original right there. That was where we started. And let's do a full length here. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. All right, give me a little bit of something that's just a little more. Okay, let me see. We have beautiful, soft light there. Let's try it again. Yeah, right there, right there, right there, right there. Okay, now I'm going to shoot one like that. And let's go back down to that half stop under, which is what I really liked before. So 1/2 stop less power than what the front one is doing. And I think this is going to look beautiful here. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. I love it. And there's one other option I can do, is I take my sheet of foam core and set it up here, right there. That should flag a little bit. And this is actually that's showing up, but I can take that out in Photoshop. So do this. Move that way a little bit. Right there. So that's how easy this light is. We can just go right here. And that darkened a little bit. So what I would probably do is either power up or open up since you moved away from the light. Amazing light. So there you have it. It's really that simple. Play with a little bit. If you you can do this with 2 60-inch umbrellas, or like I said, even 2 smaller boxes. Say you have 2 square boxes and you want to try this. By putting 2 modifiers together, you can build one single modifier look that you can control by powering this one up and down. So there you have it. So let's talk about homework assignment for those who want to maybe try this. keep in mind that don't get intimidated by having, say, the 7-footers or the exact size modifiers that I've been working with. Take what you have. Like I said, if you have just 2 umbrellas, you can shoot through 2 umbrellas. So let's say you have an umbrella but you don't have diffusion in the front. Just take 2 umbrellas and shoot through them. Power this one up and power this one down to give you a different value, and that reaches that side, the opposite side of the cheek there, to get that Rembrandt look.
Special thanks to FJ Westcott for keeping this episode lit up. Like the music? Special thanks to Triple Scoop Music. Frame Network giveaways are brought to you by B&H. Head to giveaways.framenetwork.com for your chance to win. Find out more about the equipment used in this episode on framenetwork.com.
On the next episode of Lit Up.
All right, here we have a scenario that is about as simple as you can get. We're simulating sun, and basically I have one light that's going to be about 20 feet up, about maybe 10 feet, just a little bit offset from dead center. And what my goal here would be is to create just a real crisp, sharp lighting that you'll see in a lot of the magazines. Because she's so close to this white plastic, or basically you could do a white sweep all the way across if you wanted. It's going to bounce the light even more up into her. I've got the flats kind of bouncing so they come back across here, about equal, almost an equal V. And then I've got my camera straight overhead, probably around 50 millimeters, somewhere around there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my light is offset just a little bit. Again, it's about 20 feet back, 11 feet up. Bare reflector, no modifiers, no grids, nothing. So let's take a look at this.
Head to FrameNetwork.com and create your Passport login to gain exclusive access to Lit Up and your favorite shows. Only on Flix.